Hey everyone, I wanted to do another quick and easy meal for you. This is for a really easy and quick chicken pot pie, and which we've got here is 2 frozen pie crusts, which obviously you could make your own pie crust, but the whole purpose of this is for it to be quick and easy. We've got some milk, 3 cans of mixed vegetables, about 2 cups of cooked diced chicken, and then a couple of these pie crusts that you roll out. I like to go with these instead of more of the actual frozen ones because this is just a lot easier to make the top crust and roll it across. And then in this bowl I have a can of cream of chicken soup. So I'm going to get everything mixed in here. Add my vegetables. Over here. Kind of start mixing these in with the cream of chicken soup. And if you don't like to use cream of chicken soup, it would be really easy to just make your own roux. You would just use some butter and flour and chicken broth and a little cream, or just regular milk's fine too. And you could make your own chicken base for this. I just personally like to go the cream of chicken soup route because it's quick and it's simple. Then we're going to add some milk. I've got about a cup of milk in this measuring cup. I'm not really sure how much of this we're going to use yet. Because basically you're kind of looking for a good consistency. You want it still kind of thick and creamy, not runny. And actually that looks pretty good. I don't know if you can see this. Let me get this a little higher up here. I started using my husband's camera with a tripod, and while it's great in the sense of makes it easier to do things without having to hold a camera, I'm still trying to figure it out. I may have to start putting a light in here because my lighting in my kitchen is not the greatest. Okay. That actually looks pretty good. We're going to add in our cooked chicken. And let me grab some salt and pepper. Okay. Going to add in a little salt. I'm not going to put a ton of salt to start because it's very easy to oversalt this. You definitely want to add a little bit though because of the vegetables. Then we're going to add in a few dashes of pepper. Once again, this is kind of a to taste thing. I don't know, that may have been half a teaspoon of each, I'm not really sure. But this is one of those kind of recipes that taste it before you stick it in the oven to make sure your seasoning's correct. You can actually also put a little dried thyme in here, or you could use fresh herbs, or a little parsley, or just whatever you like. You could add some onion if you like onion in your chicken pot pie. Okie-dokie. Let me grab a spoon out of this basket and give it a quick taste. See if it needs more salt. I think the pepper is great. I think it does need a little bit more salt because of all those vegetables. And obviously if you buy canned unsalted vegetables, you would need to add, even more salt. I'm not a big salt person. My husband likes more salt than I do. But a little in a recipe, even in a sweet dish, definitely brings out the flavors and adds to it. And since I added all that chicken, it did kind of thicken it up a little bit. So I'm going to add just a little bit more milk. So that was probably a half a cup of milk in total. Give this a good stir. Get everything combined, and then we'll get it in our pie crust. Okay. Alright, I'm going to put it in these frozen pie crusts. This makes 2 pies, but I want to show you something. I highly recommend these things right here. These are pie crust shields. Mine are a little tarnished because I accidentally put them in the dishwasher one time, but they still work just as well. But these things are great. They keep the edges of your pies from, well, pies that, well, not just pies that have a top crust, but these kind of pies too, because I use them for just single crust pies. But you put them on the crust like that, and it keeps your crust from getting too brown, because if you've ever made pies, you know a lot of times the crust will get really dark before it's finished, and that's not very good. So, but I do spray them with a little cooking spray, and so they don't stick. Alright, I'm going to get these, because I'm going to have to move my camera. I'm going to get the filling into the pie crust, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I've got the filling into the pie crust, and I've got my top crust laying right here. I'll open these packages, and I let these sit out for a little while at room temperature, so that they're just a lot easier to fold out. And you just unroll these, and like I said, if you have your own pie crust, like, because a lot of times people make pie crust and stick it in the freezer, then just use your own homemade pie crust. That would be perfect. We're gonna crimp. I just kind of fold this over instead of excuse me, instead of cutting it off, because I kind of like the extra crust around the edges. And you could do a fancy crimp with it. You could take a fork and, you know, use the tines of the fork to make some kind of fancy design. But you know what? Rolling it up just works really quick, and it's just really simple to do. So I'm okay with that. So see, you just kind of give it a little roll. Grab a knife out of the board here, and then we're going to put a couple of, maybe 3-4 slits in it, just to let the steam escape. And I don't know if you noticed, I've got this on a cookie sheet so that it doesn't, the filling doesn't spill out. I've had that happen before, and that is not fun to clean out of the bottom of your oven. Alright, so we got one done. I'm going to turn this around so we can do the other one. Get our second top crust here. I love these things. I don't know if y'all have Aldi store where you live, but I went shopping at Aldi yesterday, and I've only ever been there a few times, but I really like their products. They seem to be pretty good quality, but I bought this box of these pie crusts right here for 49 cents a box. I was like, okay, I could make that for 49 cents. And you would have to try really hard to screw up dough, so as long as it, you know, isn't horrible tasting, I think it'll be fine, and that is a great value. We're going to get the second one rolled up, and I've got my oven preheating to 400 degrees. I just always kind of look at the package on the pie crust and see what it tells you to do for a double crust pie, and it always says 400, so that's what I do, because I mean your contents are cooked, you're just heating it through and cooking your crust. Oh, and here's a good trick for you. If you don't want to cook your own chicken, which today I didn't because I didn't want to, go get some diced chicken that you can buy in the refrigerator section at the grocery store, or just a rotisserie chicken that you can get from the deli. And that makes this an even quicker meal. Because basically you're mixing everything up and putting it in a bowl and putting it in a crust, and in 20-25 minutes it's done. Alright, so let's get our slits cut in this one. And you could go as far to, like, you know, brush the top of this with some egg white or some mixed egg, a little egg mixed with water, but I'm not going to bother today. So, here's our pie shields, and we're going to get this placed over the top. And you kind of have, since I've folded the crust over and I didn't cut off the excess, you kind of have to kind of work it down a little bit, but it fits pretty well. Dough is moldable, so it works very well. Alrighty. And it doesn't have to, like, fit completely flat. You're just basically protecting the edges of your pie crust here from getting too done. And we get them situated. Alright, and that's the finished product, and this is going to go into a 400-degree oven. I'm thinking maybe about 20 to 25 minutes. I'll let you know when they come out exactly how long it was, and I will show you the finished product. Okay, I just got the chicken pot pies out of the oven, and this is our finished product. I'm going to just lift these pie crust shields right off, which they're still a little hot, but you can see they come right up. And the crust underneath it is perfectly browned without being burned, or too brown. And I realized, one thing I forgot to mention earlier when I first started the video was, if you're using canned vegetables, make sure you drain them, because you do not want all that extra water. I mean, you could use some of it if you didn't want to use milk, like if someone was lactose intolerant or something, but I personally think you need the milk to make the creamier texture of the cream of chicken soup, just to make it taste better. But like I said, make sure you drain them. And also, if you're using fresh vegetables, you want to, like fresh carrots or onions or potatoes, you want to saute them in a little butter or olive oil before you put them in the, mix them in the mix and put them in the crust, because the cooking time is not really long enough for the vegetables to get done. Now, if you're using frozen, you could put those in as is, because they would have time to thaw out in the oven. And definitely, you know, you don't have to pre-cook the canned vegetables. But the total cooking time actually ended up being a little longer than I expected. It was about 45 minutes, but I realized I had put the oven on the wrong time. I had said 400, and then I ended up looking at the box of pie crust, and it said 425 for a double crust pie, so I think it wouldn't have been that long if I had it on the correct temperature. So make sure you check your individual package directions for what temperature it says to cook it at. But even still, if it, you know, is 45-minute cooking time, this was less than an hour and dinner was ready. So anyway, I'm gonna get us a piece cut here and show you what it looks like. It's a little hot, and I probably actually should let it cool a little bit more before I do this, but my son has already been in here twice looking for food, so poor child's gonna starve to death if I don't feed him, according to him anyway. So this first piece is probably gonna fall apart, and it might not be pretty. Well, let me grab a spatula for this. Alrighty. The first piece of any pie I've ever always found is never the pretty one. That is never the one you want to take the picture of. Oh, actually, it didn't do too bad. Left a little behind, but not too much. Surprise, surprise. And he's going to chop it all up into a big mess anyway, so I don't think he's going to care if it falls apart. Here's my plate. See, and that's what it looks like. You can see from the, I don't know if you can see the steam coming off that, but it is very hot. But anyway, I'm going to go eat some chicken pot pie and take this to my poor deprived starving son. And I hope you give this video a try. If you want to make a quick and easy chicken pot pie, then try this out. If you like the video, like the recipe, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more upcoming videos. We'll see you next time. Bye.